I've been looking at the picture of a hoe that was allegedly used to kill Brenda Karamuzi. It's on page 4 of the new Vision published on Monday, May 23, 2011. The image is chilling. The hoe looks worn out and blunt, with 2 nails fastening the handle to the shaft and an exhibit number on it. It's being held in display by a gentleman in a grey suit, blue tie and wearing gloves. The caption reads, "A hoe allegedly used by Nkurunziza to kill Karamuzi being displayed at the High Court." The New Vision was reporting about new evidence pinning Tonko in septic tank murder. You are listening to the New Vision CSI Crime Stories podcast. This is the septic tank murder, the Brenda Karamuzi case. In this second part, the investigation and the prosecution's case. By the time Thomas Nkurunziza, popularly known as Tonko, and his Shamba boy Fred Sempija appeared before the High Court in Kampala, the prosecution had assembled what it believed was a compelling case. The state, led by Principal State Attorney John Kagezi, alleged that the 2 men murdered Brenda Karamuzi between January 21st and January 30th, 2010 at Kijwa Zone in Bukasa, Muyenga, before concealing her body inside the septic tank at Tonko's rented residence. Over several months, prosecutors called 17 witnesses in an effort to prove that allegation. The evidence came from Brenda's family, friends, police detectives, forensic experts, mobile telephone specialists, and government analysts. Each witness added another piece to what prosecutors argued was the sequence of events that led to Brenda's death. One of the earliest witnesses was Brenda's mother, Joy Karamuzi, whose testimony painted the picture of a daughter looking forward to rebuilding her life. Joy told court she last saw Brenda alive on January 20th, 2010, when they traveled together from Kampala to their home in Ndeje, Namasuba. The next morning, Brenda left saying she was preparing for a job interview with a telecommunications company. Joy expected her daughter back. Instead, the phone remained switched off. She called repeatedly without success. Family members contacted relatives and friends. Nobody had seen Brenda. Then came the call no parent ever wants to receive. On January 30th, 2010, police informed Joy that a woman's body had been recovered from a septic tank at Tonko's residence. She traveled to Mulago Mortuary where she identified Brenda's body. She told court that her daughter's head and neck bore serious injuries and there were cuts around her nose. The prosecution also relied on the testimony of Brenda's close friend Carol Nibarungi, who described the final hours she spent with Brenda. According to Carol, the 2 remained together at Worker's house in Kampala until about 5 p.m. on January 21st, 2010. When they parted, Brenda explained she intended to spend the night at Tonko's residence because he had promised to take her early the following morning for a job interview. Carol never saw her again. As investigators tried to reconstruct Brenda's final movements, they turned to one of the most important pieces of modern evidence, mobile phone records. During the trial, MTN Uganda security officer Maureen Asimwe testified about Brenda's phone activity. Her evidence was accompanied by call printouts and location reports that prosecutors successfully tendered as exhibits. Asimwe explained that the reports related to Brenda's MTN line 0776169309 covering activity between January 1st and January 23rd, 2010. She also told court that at the request of police, MTN engineers physically visited the crime scene to analyze the network coverage. Using specialized equipment, They established which cellular base stations had handled Brenda's phone calls during the period under investigation. Their findings were presented before court. According to Asimwe, January 18th was particularly active. Brenda received 11 calls that day. Earlier activity placed her in Nigeria. But as the evening progressed, the network recorded her phone connecting through different cell sites. The seventh call, received at 8:18 p.m., placed the handset in the Bukasa Muyenga coverage area. The eighth call connected through Chirombe Muyenga. The ninth again showed Chirombe. The 10th call connected through Namiliango. The 11th could not be conclusively mapped because of the conflicting network signals. The following day, January 19th, MTN records showed Brenda receiving 3 more calls. The first connected through Muyenga Bukasa at 12:13 p.m., the second through Bunga Hill, the third through Biraro Estate in Kitintale. During cross-examination, the defense questioned whether these records conclusively proved Brenda had physically traveled between those locations. Asimwe agreed that a mobile phone could remain in one place while connecting to different nearby network sites, depending on signal conditions. The defense also asked about activity on Brenda's SIM card after investigators established that it had been inserted into another handset. Asimwe testified that only one transaction was reflected. While the mobile phone evidence reconstructed movement, forensic scientists examined what investigators had recovered from Tonko's residence. Among the key witnesses was Geoffrey Onen, the principal analyst at the Government Analytical Laboratory. Onen testified that laboratory examinations revealed blood stains on several exhibits collected during the investigation. These included a hoe, a white cushion, and clothing belonging to Brenda. The clothes had been recovered from 3 bags found inside Tonko's residence. The prosecution tendered the DNA report as an exhibit. According to Onen's findings, the blood found on those exhibits matched Brenda Karamuzi. The defense would later point out that Tonko's own DNA did not match the blood recovered from those exhibits, arguing that investigators had failed to carry out DNA analysis on Fred Sempija, whom they believed should also have been examined. Those arguments would become central to the defense case. But before then, prosecutors introduced evidence they considered even more damaging. Police Detective Joy Mary Naku took the witness stand. Naku told court she had recorded a charge and caution statement from Fred Sempija on March 24, 2010 at Katwe Police Station. She explained that she first recorded the statement in Uganda before translating it into English. According to her testimony, Sempija signed both versions to confirm that they accurately reflected what he had said. Neither Tonko's lawyers, Nsubuga Mubiru and Patrick Johnny Barenzi, nor Sempija's lawyer, Janet Nakakande, objected when the prosecution asked the court to admit the statements as exhibits. Those statements became one of the most closely watched pieces of evidence during the trial. In the statement read before court, Sempija claimed he found Brenda already dead. He described entering the sitting room and seeing her body wrapped in a red bedsheet. He said broken glass bottles were scattered across the room. Then came the allegation that would dominate newspaper headlines. According to the statement, Sempija said, and I quote, "I found when he had wrapped the body of Brenda in a red bedsheet. Both of us opened the septic tank. Tom opened the sheet and threw the body inside the tank. Then we covered the septic tank." End of quote. Sempija further stated that after disposing of the body, He cleaned the sitting room. He washed blood-stained clothes and bedsheets. He also claimed Tonku asked him to never reveal what had happened. According to the statement, Tonku allegedly promised him 1 million shillings in addition to his salary of 200,000 shillings if he kept the matter secret. Sempija's statement also provided background about the household. He said he had worked as a shamba boy for Tonku and Tonku's neighbor Aziz Kakuza since January 1st, 2007. He described Tonku as unmarried and said many women and friends regularly visited the residence. Among them, he said he knew Brenda and another woman identified as Susan. He recognized others only by appearance. According to Sempija, on the Friday before Brenda disappeared, she arrived at about midday and asked whether Tonku was home. He said he answered that he was. As the prosecution closed its case, the state argued that the evidence from witness testimony, forensic analysis, mobile phone records, and Sempija's statements formed a complete chain pointing to Tonku and Sempija. The defense strongly disagreed. After reviewing the prosecution's evidence, Tonku's lawyers informed the court that they would not make a submission of no case to answer. Instead, they elected to proceed directly with the defense. Justice Albert Rugadia Atwoki then delivered an important ruling. Addressing both accused men, he said the prosecution had produced sufficient evidence requiring each of them to respond.